High performance leaves clues. In this video, I'm going to share 6 key traits that I have noticed in all the high performance entrepreneurs we work with. If you embrace them and start executing on them, I can assure you that you will start having results you didn't have before. I will pay attention to number 6 because to me, it is the bedrock of solid long-term success, irrespective of the endeavor that you embark upon. Let's get to it. Hey, I'm Castillo, founder of Selfmastered. We're a high-performance training company that helps entrepreneurs scale their businesses by solving their silent bottleneck, their own performance. We transform the unproductive, overwhelming, and focused entrepreneurs into laser-focused business athletes that can achieve in one day what they previously achieved in 1 week. Hello friends, today I want to talk about some of the commonalities that I've seen when working for high performance entrepreneurs for the past 5 or 6 years, right? After having worked with hundreds of them, you realize that there's some commonalities they all share. And if you see them and start executing on them, you can start having results you may not be able to get otherwise, right? So number 1 is a career and life by design. And this is hugely important. You need to understand that in the modern world, if you are watching this video, you have more potential, more ability to affect change than any of your ancestors, even way more than your parents had. So you can have what I call a life by design and not by default. You can call your own shots and create the change you want to see in your life. If you embrace this mindset that you can attain everything you set your eyes to, if you're willing to pay the price, remember we have a video I'm gonna link around here discussing that if you pay the costs, you can get whatever you want, then everything becomes increasingly easier. It's all about understanding what costs need to be paid, and after having paid them, you will get what you want. So high performers understand that it's all about putting the necessary effort on the right things to get the things they want. Oftentimes, those outcomes will not materialize as fast as they'd like to, but if they keep plowing, if they keep hustling towards that direction, they will eventually get it, right? So if you want something, go for it, but understand what it is that you need to do to get it. Trait number 2 is an holistic approach to success. See, high performers do not see life and business as something separated. They only see life. They are truly in tune with their mission, whatever that mission is. So they nurture an identity that is evolving on all coordinates that are meaningful to that pursuit. And in our methodology, it's a master methodology, we essentially distinguish 5 buckets that need to be mastered in order to get the life we want. On the personal side is health, self-development, so in terms of skill, relationship, and self-management. Self-management is a collection of habits, beliefs, and traits that you need to foster in order to get where you want to get. And then you have the business or career. Those 5, health, development, relationship, self-management, and business, hold the key of a peak performing entrepreneur. You need to see yourself as a complex entity that needs to be healthy in order to be performing at their best in the business, that need relationship in order to have the emotional state that allows for high performance in business, that need to foster and nurture the skills that are needed to create the change you want in your business, that you need to have the self-management skills to create the change you want in business. So everything has to be coherent. If it is not coherent, then you are not going to get it. Every goal you set must be coherent. Let's say that you're willing to double your business in the next 90 days, but at the same time you want to master salsa dancing in the next 90 days. I guess if your business is not salsa dancing related, that those goals do not align. And if they do not align, you're only going to get the goal you focus the most on. And if you dilute your focus, you're not gonna get any of those goals. But if you, on the other hand, you realize that you want to double your business the next 90 days and you have a sales problem and you truly focus on mastering your sales closing skills, let's say, then you have a higher chance of achieving both things, mastering your closing skills and therefore doubling your revenue. Right? So trait number 2 is having an holistic approach to success. 3, intensity. It's all about intensity. Just like athletes are working years after year just to perform at the Olympics, you need to see yourself as a business athlete that is consistently putting in the best work possible to finally have a chance to get what you want in business. Which means that you cannot be doing mediocre things. You cannot have a mediocre level of effort. You cannot have a mediocre level of focus. You cannot have mediocre prioritization skills. You need to be excellent, intense at everything you do, because that's what's going to give you the ability to create the change you want fast. Which means that at work, you need to be 100% on, meaning that you do not allow yourself to be distracted. You do not check your phone every 10 minutes. You do not do anything that is not aligned with the work you need to do. You do not let others dictate your agenda. But then when you're at home, you fully disengage. You are 100% focused on recovering, on resting, on sharing your experience with your family, because that's how you build a long-lasting high-performance career. Knowing when to exert maximum discipline and effort on the work, and then 0% work in the rest periods. These are the rhythms of high performance. Then 4, consistency. Success is something that happens. It's not something you can change that directly. You need to master all the tiny steps that lead to that. You need to compound the right thing for long enough to get the results you want. But then how can you make sure that you actually get it? By being consistent for a sufficiently long amount of time. And that consistency can manifest on the macro and on the micro. The macro would be just focus on one project, one business, one revenue stream until you have achieved critical skill. That's on the macro. Be consistent on working on that thing. But what about the micro? The micro can be how to segment your days and weeks and quarters for maximum effectiveness. How to make sure that you're working on the right things at the same time every week so your brain is primed to work on that. And there's 1,000 different strategies that can allow you to be consistent every day in your work, which is what it's all about. It's not the smartest person that wins in business. It is the most consistent. 5, honor the struggle. And this is a huge one. Being an entrepreneur, growing from 0 to 1 is very hard. So you're constantly facing your fears, uncertainty, and essentially hitting roadblocks and obstacles that prevent you from achieving the growth you want, especially in the beginning. Instead of trying to minimize that struggle, high performers understand that struggle is the path to the glory they seek, so they embrace it. They're constantly pushing themselves outside of the comfort zone, breaking the homeostatic response their body has embedded within, so that through that struggle, they can beat the resistance and achieve a higher level of functioning. That's how our brain works. We need to constantly be facing our fears and seek to counterbalance the evolutionary embedded tendency we have of avoiding pain and seeking pleasure, right? So honor the struggle. Understand that if you are working towards something meaningful, then most probably you're going to struggle way more than you like to, but that's okay, because that's what is expected. And then number 6, and this is huge, but before we get into that, remember to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss out on any of the juicy videos that we publish every week to help people like you reach the next level in your life and business. 6, and this one is huge, is about nurturing a stable emotional state. Because listen, when you are facing a struggle every day, when you are 100% focused on the task at hand, when you are constantly seeking to design your life against all odds, then guess what? A lot of emotions will manifest, and you are going to be hit by some nasty emotions that have an evolutionary origin. So you cannot really fight against them. You just need to embrace them. But high performers understand that managing your own emotions is key to sustain high performance. You cannot afford to have very high highs and very low low, because it becomes hard to make the right decision if you depend on having a stable emotional state. So you need to nurture that. And how do you do it? I'm not saying you need to become an emotionless person, but instead you need to focus on learning how to seek the positive at each step. Every time you're hit by emotions, make sure that you know how to turn it into a positive. If you are feeling fear, just lean in the fear and do the thing either way. If you feel a nasty surprise, just try to use that to your own betterment. In any case, lower your emotional variance. Make sure that you're able to always remain in control at all times on all fronts, because that's what high performance is all about. Being able to function at elite level week on week on week. So I hope this was useful. Please let me know in the comments if you're missing any fundamental trade that I may have missed. But in my view, and after working with hundreds of entrepreneurs, these are the 6 that most of them share every time. And in the meantime, see you in the next video.